Ah, yes, once again, we have the return of the wacky world of YouTube boxing. Over this last weekend gone, there was one of the biggest events in YouTube content creation history for the year of 2023. What I'm talking about is Creator Clash 2, the charity boxing event featuring a variety of huge content creators ranging from YouTubers, Twitch streamers, etc. got together for a massive boxing event. Many of these creators having never boxed or competed in a combat sport a day in their life. If you didn't know, here on this channel we cover all sorts of entertainment, media, anime, etc. But what you may not know is that I am a massive combat sports fan, a massive combat sports enthusiast. I've been doing martial arts basically for my whole entire life on some level or another. The last 10 years I've mainly focused on boxing, Muay Thai, and Dutch kickboxing. So you could say that I was a bit surprised when I tuned into Creator Clash 2 over the weekend, and I actually found myself having an amazing time. Yes, as we said, Creator Clash 2 is a charity boxing event put on by the YouTuber iDubbbz, featuring a number of very, very large, popular content creators who put on actual boxing gloves, who train to compete against one another in actual boxing matches. And yes, I think you can imagine just exactly how this may go. Yeah, I won't lie to you, some of these matches were extremely hard to watch and would definitely be what I think the kids call cringe. But that being said, I couldn't help but find myself getting engrossed more and more as I watched Creator Clash 2 on Saturday night. Originally, I just tuned in to support some of my favorite YouTubers and content creators: Marisha Ray from Critical Role, Arin Hanson from Game Grumps, Ethan from crankgameplays, and Enos Honest, and the list goes on and on. However, though, as I continued to watch this absolute spectacle, this clown circus of a boxing event, I couldn't help but find myself grinning from ear to ear, enjoying the absolute chaos that I was witnessing. See, the rise of YouTube boxing has, well, created a bit of a rift, a bit of bad blood in kind of much of the combat sports world. And can you really blame many of the boxing fans and the boxing pro competitors out there when they see guys like Jake Paul and KSI, people with basically no boxing experience at the time, competing and earning more money than, I don't know, 90% of boxing pros? Yeah, you can kind of see how for the boxing hardcore, for the combat sports hardcore, and even the boxing athletes themselves, how the rise of YouTube boxing could be viewed as kind of, well, a slight on their sport. Now, personally, I don't view it like that, but I can't really blame a lot of boxing fans for feeling this way. I mean, combat sports out of any sport in general, for whatever reason, seem to lend themselves to armchair quarterbacking more than any other sport I've ever seen. You know what I mean by armchair quarterbacking, right? The guy on the couch watching the sporting event yelling at the TV as if he could do better than the actual athletes who are competing. This phenomenon is greater in combat sports, whether it's MMA, boxing, kickboxing, than like any other sport, I swear, for whatever reason. It seems like any average Joe could watch an MMA match and think that they could compete better than the actual trained professional athletes who go in there risking their body every day on the line just to make a living. I think a lot of this mentality is why YouTube boxing and boxing events like Creator Clash really get eviscerated from the hardcores. I mean, I can't really blame them too much when you see matches like this between two people who I wouldn't even classify as amateurs try to compete in front of an audience of, I don't know, potentially millions of viewers. But in all honesty, what could you expect? We have to remember that most of these YouTubers and content creators that competed in Creator Clash basically had zero combat sports experience except for what they had trained up until this point. And combat sports, boxing specifically, isn't for everyone. To me, one of the most interesting things I found from Creator Clash was seeing just the different levels of talent and skill that were presented by the many YouTubers and content creators. I was genuinely surprised with just how many of these content creators really took to boxing like a fish to water. Obviously, there are the ones that stick out that very much don't. The boxers who were floundering around, who looked like they were stiff as a board out there, and they looked like they never did any boxing training in their life. To be fair to these boxers and these competitors, this is probably pretty normal. If we were to take just an average Joe, throw them in a boxing camp for, I don't know, 3 months, and then say, hey, you have to now go compete against another person in front of a live audience, in front of a streamed live pay-per-view event. All sports are nerve-wracking, but combat sports is like one of the most nerve-wracking things in general. It takes a certain type of someone to be down to get hit in the face and potentially embarrassed in front of a live audience. Irregardless of the level of their skill, I applaud and respect anyone who is willing to put themselves through the rigorous training of any martial art, of any combat sport, and anyone who is willing to basically risk it all and compete in said combat sport. It's not an easy thing, guys. It's a type of fear that's not normal, and you can't really equate it to really any other sport or any other discipline. Here's the funny thing about all the hardcores who seem to be hating on Creator Clash and all of these YouTube boxers, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, what have you. The sport of boxing is dying, and it's dying pretty fast. I mean, right now, if you were to go out and ask a random stranger to name 3 active professional boxers, I bet they couldn't even name one. Long gone are the days where boxing was one of the biggest sports in America. It has been hard replaced by MMA, and MMA, UFC, is a niche sport in and of itself, but combat sports as a whole have really fallen off in popularity. I mean, nowadays it seems that most people won't watch a professional boxing pay-per-view unless there is someone like Jake Paul headlining it. This really goes to show the lack of stars in the boxing world. There just isn't someone who really is a mainstream draw out there in the boxing world. And that's where these YouTubers come in. Like it or not, YouTubers like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI, iDubbbz, anyone who competed in Creator Clash are a big part of the resurgence in the fandom of boxing. I mean, I can only imagine how many new boxing fans were potentially made on Saturday night at Creator Clash, something that I would say is a positive for the sport. I'm also genuinely surprised about how many new boxing competitors were made at Creator Clash. So many of these YouTubers, these content creators, actually genuinely fell in love with combat sports and boxing in their training leading up to Creator Clash. Oftentimes, I will compare combat sports and martial arts to workout culture. Both of them are extremely addictive. If you've ever caught in the gym rat bug, the gym bug, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's extremely addictive. Martial arts and combat sports is the exact same thing. The training in martial arts is extremely addictive. You constantly want to go and constantly want to get better and continue to compete. And I think Saturday night, we saw a lot of competitors out there catch this bug. I think maybe none other more than Ethan from crankgameplays, a kid who I've watched for a long time on YouTube, and I genuinely never would have thought ever would have been the type of person to call themselves a combat sports competitor. But you know the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, as I have to say I was genuinely shocked and impressed by just how good Ethan was, how much of a natural Ethan was to boxing. And this is true for a number of the competitors out there. All in all, I have to say I genuinely loved Creator Clash 2. I never thought in a million years I would be that invested in watching a bunch of YouTubers and content creators hit each other with 14-ounce gloves. But damn it, Saturday night, I found myself so invested, way more invested than I ever thought I would be, in watching a bunch of YouTubers and content creators fight. I really love what iDubbbz and all of the people involved with Creator Clash here are doing. Not only is it promoting a good cause, donating money to charity, it's also advocating what I think is a really, really fun and cool sport. And it's awesome seeing the world and a younger generation fall in love with a sport that has very much died in the last 30, 20 years. Personally, I have no idea what is in store for the future of boxing, but I have a feeling if boxing wants to evolve into the new world that we are in 2023, it's going to need to embrace these YouTube boxers, this new kind of weird, wacky world of internet boxing. Personally, I hope that they continue to put on Creator Clash and other events like this, and man, would it be awesome if they even did some kind of a kickboxing event. You best believe I would be doing my best to try to get into that event and compete. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are on Creator Clash, on this weird world of YouTube boxing, are in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Until next time, peace, love, Arin.
It was like 05, got my license to drive. Picked you up in my pop's car, went for a ride. Couldn't no one tell us nothing. That night was ours. All the stars aligned and you were so damn fine. Yeah, it was young love, young hearts were so pure. We trust love is so hard to endure. A few years passed.